Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? So I have come to the conclusion that things are completely out of order. You may put them in order, but in ECAM they come out of order. So that's the way we sit. All right, nothing to worry about though. Good morning, Patrick. I'm going to try to, Sterling, good morning and happy Thanksgiving week to you. Hope you're doing very well with your recovery and all is continuing in the right direction. See, and then I got stuff like Fitch Global Sovereigns 2025 Outlook. That was the first thing that popped up. Uh, and then we have risk will remain elevated. Then we had Bath and Body Works, which was a beat. Then down here we have one earning to report. I skipped a couple other things in there. And then we had your good morning. So see, it's all over the place. All right, Trump to confront IEA or focused on green energy. And I think it was more stuff with drilling of repeal Biden's clean energy plan and emphasize the role of natural gas. Well, I do agree with that. Chicago National Activity Forecast, which came out a little while ago, coming in at minus 0.4. Consensus of minus 0.2 and prior of minus 0.27. So that's headed in the wrong direction. We still have the Dallas Manufacturing Index coming up in a bit. And then the 3-month and 6-month auctions. Oh boy. Now I've messed everything up. Because I clicked on the wrong little area. Hold on. It's a Monday. So that's where we sit there. Let's see who's here so I don't continue to mess stuff up. Let's see who's here. Yeah, there you go. Trump's plans to move quickly to offer more offshore leases for bidding. Now you better streamline a lot of the red tape so they can actually, once the leases have been attained, they can actually be utilized in a reasonable time. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Richard. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, by the way. Good morning, Royal Palms. Yeah, MicroStrategy just buying. It's just like the snake eating its own tail. Oh boy, it's going to go insane. It's just going insane. This is not going to end well. Hit that like for like. I agree. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, John. Good morning, Eric. Happy holidays to everyone also, which, again, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving because you're in another country, you know what? Happy holidays. Hello, Charles. Good morning, Heinrich. All right, with that, we'll get back to it. Let me see here. So nothing else really today. We got 3 and 6-month bill auctions, 30-day auction. Today's very quiet. Besides the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index coming out at 10:30 Eastern. Tomorrow and then especially Friday. Tomorrow we have instead of Wednesday, you normally have the minutes on Wednesday, but they're being brought on Thursday, and then we have the PCE and GDP information on Wednesday. So tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be busy. Tomorrow and Wednesday in terms of earnings, since I got to find my little thing here, since I messed it up. After close today, we got Zoom. Again, not market moving, but sort of interesting. Really not much else. Then we got Abercrombie, Fitch, Kohl's, Best Buy, Macy's, Dick's tomorrow, Burlington. So you got some retailers. It'll be interesting to see what they have in terms of guidance. After close, you have Dell, CrowdStrike, Workday, Autodesk, HP. So a little of the smaller tech companies. And then Wednesday, you don't have much, and I don't know who would report on Friday, but there are. You got Frontline, and I don't know what that is. Minso, I don't know what that is. All right, another thing. Sediment indicator. I mean, here's how stretched we are, okay? Now, anything below zero is, is getting stretched to the downside. You see this since last December, we have nothing. We have approaching zero, but nothing below zero. anything over 1 is stretched to the upside, and now we're at 2 point. We're off the charts, stretched to the upside. So, can it keep going? Yeah, it can keep going. Just know where what your time frame is for trade and holding, and where your stops are for the time frame. Good morning, Martinez. One of those strange days where all futures are up, bonds are up, and VIX is down. Yes, the yields are taking a breather too. In terms of the heat map today, we got everything green except Nvidia pulling back a bit. Tesla's on a tear again. It's just buy everything. Look at this. Look at technology. It's buy literally everything. Technology massively outpacing the market. There's another thing I had here. Hold on, I'm looking at another screen. So just looking at something. See if I can find it again. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have to look at that later. Sorry about that. I thought I had it handy. But obviously I misplaced it. It's tech stocks out here. This is the tech stock positioning versus the S&P 500. So you can see the ratio XLK to SPX here. This was back at the .com. This reminds me so much of the .com. And I'm not saying it can't keep going, but we're at those peak levels again. At the peak levels. Today, everything positive. Buy it all Thanksgiving week Monday. 55.45 for the rate cut in 23 days. So that's almost 50-50, very neutral there. Fear and greed, solidly in greed mode. Schiller PE back over 38. Markets must be dirt cheap, so you might as well load up on your Bitcoin at 100K and buy every stock at 38 P to E. Where's the price to sales though? Hold on. Let me see the price to sales. Oh, look at this. New high price to sales. This is even where stuff was. I mean, this is just paying absurd amounts for everything. Again, it can keep on going. Just bringing a little realism to it. What else do we go? I was just reading the comments. Whenever I miss a trade in the NASDAQ, I always look for the trade in the opposite direction for crude. Crude getting into daily cycle tops areas too. So I'm against key resistance. So I'm starting to look for, see if there's any short setups coming in there. All right, gap up today. Gap up, I should actually say last night. Gap up when futures reopened. Now we closed above the 62.5 and already taken out the 87.5, putting it in double top territory. The move it be reversing is still technically this one. So, not saying that will trigger, but that is the setup. So it's a great area for a stop below the low from the 19th. We just checked off the 60.28, so next target is the highs from Monday, the 11th of November. Sorry, the 11th of November, 6,053. Above that, 6,094. And then you have a major cluster, 6,121 to 6,135. Those are all the upside targets. Again, also trading against some very key resistance this morning. So that's what you're going to be, well, that's what I'm going to be looking at, this 6,033 at the opening area. Support is Sunday's opening. Support is now Sunday's opening price, right around 6,006. If that were to roll over this week below that, the key thing would be to Friday's opens for the gap fill. That's the first key target, 5991. Good morning, Options 22. Haven't seen you in forever. Thank you for tuning in. NASDAQ with the double, never shook it out. We had some volatility, never shook it out officially. And coming in on the final target. And remember, a close above 20,980 today. Still, then you have the two prices, 21,101 and then 21,221. So that's what I'll be watching for. The NASDAQ not yet in double top territory, but nearly completing the little mini double bottom. Probably get there right after the open. And there was the gap left behind between Thursday the 14th and Friday the 15th. And that gap has officially been filled. So that gap magnet price is done too. Same thing. I'm watching on any rollover, not just for today, but especially going into tomorrow and Wednesday. If we do take out Sunday's lows / opening area, the key target price is the close from Friday. 20,849.75, so 20,850. The Dow breaking to new highs. Breaking to new highs today. Okay. So next is 44,979 and then 45,334. All right, what does Sterling want me to read? Annual salaries. Americans say they consider a minimum to be financially successful by generation. Boomers 99K, Gen X 212, Millennials 180, Gen Z 587. Oh, that is the annual salaries. Not a lot of people make $587,000 a year. Now, I need more context for that. Is that what they feel like that they'd be earning at this point, or that what through their career? Oh boy, stuff's just completely out of whack. Again, Dow, if we do break below Sunday's opening, watch for the gap fill. Again, not necessary for today. The Dow, the minor targets based off the reverse harmonics also. If we put those up there, it's already hitting that minor target area 44,829, and then you see the key cluster up here. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching for continued rally. Russell closing above the 62.5 right to 75 and opening at the 87.5, putting it in clear double top territory. Might never trigger. If it does break above the highs for Monday the 11th at 2,455.6, 2487, but we can also use the reverse harmonics here also. Gives me a little better, I'm going to use those levels. I'm actually using these levels because the way this is formed, these are the stronger levels. Because you have multiple anchor points down here, you have a single anchor point here. So I'm using 2477 and 2499. The VIX is dropping. Again, no fear in this market. The DAX still holding on the closing basis. The key support 19,050. So without a close below that, we're just in consolidation. The key resistance on any rally, you have a very significant area at 19,625. The notes finally easing up. Key target area on a continued rally is 110.22 for me in the short term. Then if we do get through there, we still have a very key area about 111 to 111.02. The yield, finally getting a little reprieve in the yield, dropping. So we are below the rotation zone I'm watching for today. If it closed below there, and we can still be rolling over again, getting closer to oversold, but we could be seeing a closer pullback. We're at 4.3 right now. We do break through that and watch for a pullback to potentially 4.02. It's though going to depend on those PCE numbers. That's the big thing with this. There's not a fantastic pattern here. So I'm still staying in yields climbing after this at least short-term pullback. Remember, on a weekly basis, we're at cycle tops, and that would take us into the weekly rotation zone. And now with the weekly pausing bar, if we do pull back and break higher, we have a very key cluster to watch for. Dollar index also pulling back. Going to be watching for potentially to see if this makes and triggers a head and shoulders top. Okay, from a trailing perspective, the break below, as long as we follow through, When break below Friday's, if we close below Friday's low, it's at least a short-term minor topping signal, and I'd be looking at 105.75 area as the first support, and then the next support would be 105.28. Crude, again, against very key resistance area. So that's why I said we were starting to hold, but this has happened recently since I just looked at it. I was watching to see if these lows would hold around 70.40, and they obviously haven't. So that ran out of the barn quickly into a very key support, minor 1169.50. But if we do continue to break, especially below 69, then we could easily retest this 67 area. There's not a great longer term setup in crude right now. Natty gas, lots of volatility outside key reversal bar, back to the rotation zone. Lots of volatility in natty gas, but also and against a very significant highs from last October 23. So that's still a key area. We talked about this. As long as this really holds above this key support, you just use $3 in your mind. We'll be watching for a potential breakout play there. Gold technically closing above the 62.5 on Friday, taking the rest of the targets and then reversing massively today. Insanity. We're getting some really weird price action, and you know this has been really tough trading gold because again, what is going on? I want to delete this. Please let me delete this. No. All right. Try it again. We're going to be watching how gold now reacts to 26.25. I'm still watching for we came back down of a more significant top area being put in here with gold. But gold selling off, gold's like trading in sync with the dollar. Really strange times. Yen, going to be still watching to see if it closes below 153.28, which would trigger this minor double top and yen strengthening again. This is weird price action. Possible percent B buy against the rotation zone in the euro if it closes above Friday's high for a bounce only. Bitcoin stalling out after hitting the high on Friday of 99.024 on Coinbase. So far, just a sideways correction. Remember, the last correction was a sideways before the push higher. Is MicroStrategy going to keep being able to buy this? MicroStrategy, by the way, look at the bar on Thursday. Remember, the key thing is this could be a significant topping pattern if MicroStrategy, if I could draw them in the right way, if MicroStrategy can't get above 478.82 again on the closing basis. So I'm keeping a very close eye on that. Issuing debt to buy more Bitcoin at a zero coupon yield. I don't know why people would even invest in that. Again, everything's wonky. What else do we have? We have the spiders. Again, with the close above the 62.5, running up. It was 598.13, but we're already above there. So 598 is now support. If we do break out to the upside in the spiders, we still have our old prior target and the reverse harmonics take us to 602.20 roughly, then 604.20 to 605.08 is the next major harmonic area. And we are going to be in double top territory now, so a great trailing spot is below the little minor double that completed. You can see there, look how nice that lines up with the harmonics. So but we're a long way off from that trigger and could be invalidated before it ever triggers, but that's the key line in the sand right there. The Qs, targets 510, 510.30 area. We're going to open just above that. Then above that's 512.94. On any rollover play this week, pay attention to 507.50. Below that would be the gap fill to 505.79 from Friday. Hey, Balaji, haven't seen you in forever. How you doing? Sure, can I check on the pound? Hope you are well. Pound is also coming out of very oversold conditions with a divergent bottom. Watch how today closes in relation to Friday's high. That would be a confirmed little percent B buy bounce pattern. The pound is very, very oversold, sitting against a minor support level with cycles at the bottom. So again, we could see a bounce. If it does, the first key areas to a bounce, it's really got to then sustain above 126.40. Above 126.40, the next key target for me is 127.20 area. So there we go there. Tesla. Tesla still has a potential double top unless it trades above 371. Trading 362 this morning, that would take it off the table. Remember, the magnet price is still 375.41 on a higher basis. Your intermediate targets are 364.82 and 371. Nvidia also looks like it's trying to put in more of a topping pattern, getting very toppy up here. Very toppy. You still do technically have the weekly massive double, stretched out diverging double top, sitting last week, testing the bottom of the rotation zone. So last week's low is going to be very, very key. Last week's low of 137.15 if you're trading Nvidia. Intel and Commerce Department close to finalizing roughly 8 Building and Chips Act grant. You're welcome, Balaji. So, what's Intel doing? Remember, if Intel gets on a tear and can get above 26.30, you still have a gap left behind in the vicinity of the 200. And this could easily go back to 50 and 62.5. So I'm keeping an eye on that. But there's some very strong resistance up here. All right, couple minutes going into the open. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Going into the open, I'm really going to be watching a 6 that's still key level, which has been short-term, very last little bit short-term resistance, is 6,033. And the key support area on any pullback in the open is all the way back at 6,019, 6,020. Other than that, not much else to talk about. So we will call it a day. I will be streaming tomorrow and Wednesday, especially on Wednesday because of the PCE and GDP numbers. Remember, cycle's still climbing up, but we could see a topping. I don't know what the numbers area, but it will be in very toppy territory starting to go into late Tuesday, early Wednesday. Does not mean it has to stop. It can stay in toppy territory for a while, but that's going to be interesting how that lines up with those numbers being released on Wednesday. So we looked at GTLB. The weekly double that took too long. Now it's closed over to 62.5. Did this confirmed though? Once it's confirmed, it doesn't matter if it's how long it takes to. If I said that, I was wrong. If it confirms and then you cannot use the count to the sideways, it's still confirmed. It might not have been triggered. If I said something different, I misspoke on a live stream. It has but I'd still be looking at the targets of 69.81 and 73.80. But if something confirms, and all it needs to confirm is trade above the peak, so it confirmed actually on September 24. So you can't use the count once it confirms. Unless the only way then it gets invalidated is on these harmonics. It would have to close back below the 62.5 or trade back below the 75. That's the only thing that invalidates it once it's confirmed. Okay? So there we go, just a point of clarification. Now, if this had not triggered above this base, we can see it on the weekly. And if you're even trading on the weekly, see it confirmed before the count got too far to the right. So it doesn't matter. It didn't trigger, though, until the last week of October, right here. And now it's gone through the first targets. And even gapping up above the second target. So, just wanted to clarify that. With that, let's just see how the tick opens since I'm still here. Oh, geez. Holy smokes. Wow. Wow. That is a very, very strong tick opening. So I'm going to be watching to see how the markets hold on the pullback and then the next key tick bounce to see if then it makes a bottoming pattern and then runs to that 60.33 and takes it out. But that is a very strong, lots of buy. That's got to be buy programs right off the open. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Bye for now.